I had been a professor for 22 years at Valparaiso University in Indiana, a Lutheran university. My father was a Lutheran pastor and a professor of homiletics at the seminary in St. Louis, and so I'm a pastor's brat. And I don't know how many of you know the history of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, but my father was exiled after 40 years in the ministry, and one of the saints of the church. So at any rate, after 22 years at Valparaiso, I'm a slow study. It just dawned on me that I was not put on this earth to hire, fire, budget, and schedule, and be the chairman of an art department. So besides, I didn't like the way they taught art at the university. Where you take a course in painting and you have a studio on Thursday that you don't go back to until the following Tuesday. Tuesday and Thursday classes, and it's like starting over every time you're there. It's a wonky system. But so I thought I could do better, and we just emptied our house with all we could fit into a 20-foot truck and came out here into this old Grange home, and which on a previous trip, because we go to Holden Village a lot, and I had put down some money down on this 1 acre and a building where the roof was sagging. There were no doors, and half the windows were broken out. But we moved into it and started fixing it up. And this one, yeah, Old Grange Hall, and they're the same design wherever you go. The Granges, and we found very strange and mystical costumes and furnishings, and wondered what were they doing. That was on the inside. On the outside, we found a couple truckloads full of beer cans and bottles. So we thought, well, they were having a good time, I guess. But I didn't know it. I don't know any more than that about the Grange, except that it held the community together up here, and they were in strong competition with the church because they also played cards. And so one of the first things we did was went over to the church the first Sunday we were here and introduced ourselves. Because when people heard that it was art moving into the Old Grange Hall, they panicked. There's going to be a hippie commune and free love and all that kind of stuff all over the place. And so we told them of our theological backgrounds and beliefs, and that we were looking forward to being part of the community. And one old guy stood up and said, "Thank you, Jesus. The Grange is now in the hands of the Lord." Well, at any rate, it was a kind of an auspicious beginning, but this was it. This was the whole thing for quite a while. And then we got a board that just was incredible staff, support and money and all kinds of things. Bought adjoining properties when they came up on auction, and some really, really interesting connections. So at any rate, that's how we started, very gradually, and over the years we added as things became available, and we would move stuff. But when our first year, this was where we lived, this is where we taught, this is where I did my artwork, and that sort of thing. From the beginning, it seemed like it was important for people to know the historical relationship between art and the church. That we weren't inventing this thing, that we were actually inheriting it. And So we did a core course, which we still have, on the varieties of art history that apply to the development of the church, of Christianity through the years, and even went back into pre-Christian sorts of things. It wasn't too long before we decided that it was not enough to simply show slides and tell them this has been really interesting to explore this sort of thing, and then click on the next slide, and here we are in another country. So we said we've got to maybe convict people of the necessity of those two components, art and faith, operating together, supporting each other. And one of the best ways we can do that is not just to look at a picture, but go and see. Go and visit, look at these sites, and participate in worship at these sites in a variety of settings, which we did. We started, and I just put together, which I had never done before, but I pulled together we went on the pilgrimage to Santiago. And in the process of going on the pilgrimage, stopped at all the significant architecture that started at Cluny, and just followed that path, and the variety of influences that came to bear. The development of ecclesiastical architecture was along that route, particularly as it moved into the Romanesque period, and then you start getting cathedrals. And we worshiped. We attended the Pilgrim Mass at the Cathedral of Santiago, and we've attended Russian Orthodox in our tour of the quest for the icon. We started at St. Catherine's Monastery in Egypt, and ended up in the icon cities of Russia, and visited Greece along the way, and their icons climbed up to the monasteries of Meteora and things like that. Well, I mean, you cannot get that with slides, although you will in a minute. But the whole idea is that I will not show you one slide which the Guild has not offered personally to whoever wants to join us on pilgrimage, and that's been vital. One guy who would come to a lot of our trips said, I'm sort of getting worn out. He had a bad knee, but I'm getting worn out with the hop on the bus thing. Because he said, can you design a thing in which we stay for a while in a place and get the rhythm of the day and that kind of stuff? And so we did. The next tour we took set us down in 2 villages in France, noted for their worship places. One was in Conques, which is an unbelievably fine, isolated. I mean, you're not going there on the way to somewhere else. It's all by itself. It's the end of the road, Conques, Conques, and it's an amazing history and a beautiful worship. It is on the pilgrimage route, so you can walk to Conques, but you can't drive. And the other was Vézelay, and we spent a week in each of those cities, and nobody was allowed on that trip who would not do creative work themselves. They had to bring the tools, the supplies for doing sketching, painting, watercolor, whatever, but you don't just sit and watch other people's art from the old days. You respond to it, And our purpose is that you respond to the history of the church, you respond to the work of the church with your making of things, how you do things. That art is your ministry, and as long as you are with us, art is your ministry. So that.
So how often do you take these pilgrimages?
Well, it wasn't too long ago we got back from Greece. we went back to Greece and worshiped once again at Meteora. We've been there a couple of times and saw the development of the pre-Christian as it moved into the Byzantine in Greece, and spent our last 3 days on the island of Patmos, and worshipped in the cave, and so it's just that was last year. Next year we're planning on taking a group to England.
Okay, so you do this every other year approximately, or just depends on?
I think it's about right.
Interest.
I think, yeah. As long as people want us to do it, we'll do it, because it's a lot of work putting it together. And these days, it's a lot of money that you haven't planned on spending, and so you got to be careful about that. So, and I have thought from time to time, and in fact, I offered it once and didn't get any takers, that we would look at the worship practices within the context of the history of the United States. And I was very interested in taking some of the students here to Indian reservations. I am Blackfoot by ritual, and which is a story in itself that we don't have time for. But nevertheless, one point of that, when I went on my vision quest and I got my totem, the animal that you are to use as your model for your life, and I came back from my vision quest with wolves and eagles and things, and the chief, the father of the clan, gave me my totem, and it was a chickadee. And I said, Father, I respect you greatly, but I never, ever had any hint of a chickadee in my vision quest. Where did you drum this thing up? And he said, the chickadee is a friend to all the birds because it never interrupts their songs with its own. In other words, Richard, shut up and listen. And I still couldn't see what connection there was, except when we were looking for a place that we could maybe turn into the guild. The realtor from Leavenworth came down and said, well, we got this whole place here, and you want to go visit? So she drove me down here, and as we drove in to the driveway here, there had to be a flock of about 100 chickadees. Sitting on the ground, and this is it. And called my wife in England, where she was studying weaving, and said, I put money down, and we got a year left at Valparaiso. So it's just, no questions about being moved, about being sent, and all of those signals. It's still going on. That you are guided, you are led, you are comforted in the process, you are all those